can think about insomnia and the unique aspects of insomnia for women. Insomnia is when we have difficulty falling asleep or difficulty staying asleep. When we think about insomnia, you might have the opportunity to sleep, but you just can't sleep well. So that's insomnia. And what we know is women are 40% more likely to have insomnia. So it's important that we're having this conversation. I also liked, when I think about women and I think about sleep, I like to think about sleep during the lifespan of a woman. When we think about sleep during our childbearing years, we know that our menstrual cycle can impact our sleep, especially during the premenstrual time, that week before we have our period, as well as during our period. Perhaps we might have some cramping, we might have bloating, and on a hormonal level, we might not sleep as well. In addition, I think about women when they're pregnant. When we think about pregnant women, we know our sleep can be impacted. Maybe it's just uncomfortable, we have some back pain, maybe we're having some leg cramps during our pregnancy, maybe we're worried a little bit during our pregnancy, even though pregnancy is such a joyful time, and that can impact our sleep. And for me personally, when I was pregnant, I had acid reflux. I've never had acid reflux, and during my pregnancy, every time I reclined to go to sleep, I would have a regurgitation. It was very uncomfortable, and it really impacted my sleep. Why we care about sleep for pregnant women is insufficient sleep is associated with gestational diabetes, the fetus doesn't grow as well, so there's growth restriction, preterm delivery, as well as prolonged labor. So it's something that we want to think about. And then I think about insomnia for women as we age. I think about menopause. 51 is the average age of menopause, and we could go into menopause earlier, we can go into menopause later, but we know insomnia is more common after we enter menopause. What the statistics show in terms of the prevalence before menopause of insomnia is 33 to 36%. But once we enter menopause, postmenopausal, it's 44 to 61%. And so we can think that maybe hot flashes or night sweats, that could increase our risk of insomnia as we enter menopause, and that's definitely true. But outside of that, even if a woman doesn't have hot flashes and she doesn't have night sweats, she might still have problems with sleep. And there was one statistic in looking at women over the age of 60 who suffered from insomnia. There was a report of waking up 3 times at night. So as we age as women, we notice insomnia as well. We can also think about our mood. We know depression is more common in women than in men, and depression is associated with insomnia, or sometimes it's anxiety or worries that we have. Our brain's always thinking about something, and sometimes I think about what I did during the day or didn't do during the day, or all I have on my plate the next day, and it impacts our sleep when we think about our minds always moving around. As women, I also think about, for many women, we're caregivers. We're taking care of our immediate family, our extended family, we're taking care of things at work perhaps, we're taking care of so many things, but we don't prioritize ourselves, and we're not taking care of ourselves. And that is something that can impact our sleep because we're overwhelmed sometimes and we're just doing too much. I think about women who work outside the home and then come back home for a second shift and then are not able to sleep, especially for single moms. I think about that. I think about women who don't work outside the homes, but they have so many responsibilities at home, and that can impact our sleep as well. For myself, before flying out, the night before I flew out, I didn't sleep well. And I didn't sleep well. It wasn't because of the worry about the presentation. Perhaps that was on my mind. It was more so because I decided I needed to cook a special meal for my husband and daughter. I decided I needed to clean the house before I left. And all of these expectations and demands we put on ourselves as women, it can impact our sleep for sure. So when we think about women and we think about sleep, it's really prioritizing sleep. So let's go to our next question. And our next question is looking at what are the causes of sleep. And so we can go ahead and use the poll. The first would be, if you have poor sleep, what's the cause? Could it be our lifestyle? Could it be our environment? Perhaps it's something psychological or social. Perhaps the cause is a medical condition. So these are a few things that's important, because in order for us to evaluate or have effective intervention in terms of poor sleep, we need to know what's causing our poor sleep.